So, original tweet was from Tiago Forte. I'm looking for evidence to confirm my belief that smartphones are and increasingly will be used for professional quality photography and filmmaking. Number one, existence of iPhone photography school, and there's a Twitter account reference. Number two, category in Mexico City Film Festival shot on smartphone. What else? So, these are some of the indicators that smartphones are beginning to be used for legit professional photography. There's movies that are made, billboards, which are like the billboard is like this photo was taken on an iPhone kind of a thing. And it is interesting to see. I was actually talking to somebody recently who had said that they worked on a startup to do essentially like an Uber for photography type thing. And so they were using DSLRs. And the issue they ran into was literally not being able to have an SD card that could Bluetooth connect to a phone in order to be able to quickly transfer the photos. And it's funny because I remember I've looked for like a Wi-Fi SD card for my camera and had a hard time finding it. All of the ones out there have like really bad reviews. And I'm like, this seems like it should be easier. That's so interesting that that ended up being the bottleneck for this particular startup. And then I thought to myself, well, you could do that startup. You could do Uber for photography now on purely on smartphones. And it would be interesting to see that because they're so good. Now, you might say to yourself, well, why would somebody pay for somebody else to come take a picture with an iPhone when everybody has an iPhone? But I think for starters, you're going to be either taking selfies, which limits you to the type of photo you can take, or you're going to be asking somebody else to take a picture of you and then you don't want to impose on them. So they're going to take a quick picture. And really, I think so much of what makes photography interesting is how well do they frame it, the creativity in different styles of shots, and just taking the time, just having somebody to come and spend a half hour or an hour actually doing different shots, different angles, all that kind of a thing. There is obviously, if you hire a photographer, I think you want to see them show up with a nice camera. That's part of what you feel like you're paying for. But I think that it feels like it could be scaled so much more heavily if you didn't have that dependency on a DSLR, right? Because then photographers got to carry their DSLR on them everywhere they're going. Again, there's the issue of how do you quickly transfer the photos. That would be viable. And imagine if, as a photographer, you're doing your thing, going about your day, and you can get an alert, hey, somebody is 3 miles away from you and they want to have a 20-minute photo shoot. You could price that at $50, something like that, and then, hop over. You didn't even need to have your DSLR on you. You got a nice high quality phone. You pop in there, take some great pictures. We've wanted to pay for a photographer for a while for like family photos, but it's like, you're paying $200-300. You got to find somebody. You got to see if you like their stuff. Like if you bring that price point down and turn it and Uberify it, I feel like it would just explode.